All right, let's get underway. Okay, round one's in the books. Everyone I speak to says they're sore. It was a warm day, so it certainly took out of a few, but we did pretty well. Zero red cards, which was amazing. Everyone seemed to behave themselves pretty well. We've got some milestones to acknowledge, some big ones actually. A couple of Divi 1 men's debuts from the boundary again. They're getting all sorts of youngsters having a go there. Archie Duffett actually did one last Saturday, he got a late call up. And Shane Malloy, who's new to our ranks this year, he's going straight into Div 1. So well done to those two guys. A couple of guys doing their 100th game. Paul Craig and Adam Harris, so both in the field. Adam's brother Matt is doing his 400th game, so Matt, well done. It's a pretty big milestone, but it's not the biggest this weekend. We've got a 600 gamer, Peter McMullen, and we've even got a 800th gamer, so Michael Williamson. Willow, well done to all of you guys. For those in their first and second year out with us, we're going to do some skill drills this Wednesday night. So if you're in that group, just bring your whistle, and new umpires are encouraged to attend training and be a part of that. Okay, just some points regarding the match report that is filled in after the game. I think I've said this a few times over the years. If you have a yellow or red card, that's for the yellow and red card section. Don't make a comment in the any other issues that there was a yellow and red card. Just fills up our it just wastes our time to clear all that. And then if you do, this happens quite a bit. If you get a club come to you after the game or during the game and they say, "Oh, you didn't see something or you didn't hear something," we're going to put a complaint into the league. You don't need to ring me about it. You don't need to put a note in the system that, like there was potentially an art behind the play incident, or there was a potential homophobic slur or whatever it is. If there's something that occurs that the club is going to complain about, and we need your side of the story, I'll give you a call on either Sunday or the Monday usually. But yeah, we won't go out of our way to investigate something unless the club complains. It's the process. Obviously, it's up to you guys. If you see a red card incident, you need to use a red card and you put the official report in. If you don't see it, or for whatever reason you choose not to, but the club is aggrieved, then they can come to the league and we can deal with it then. But yeah, we're not going to, just because you think something may have happened, we're not going to go out of our way, look at the video or ring around and find out. It's up to the clubs to lay that complaint. There is a need if you do have an ambulance. We had a couple of ambulances on the weekend. If an ambulance attends your game for whatever reason, then make a note of that. That can go in the any other issues. The league do just need to be aware that that has occurred. And I guess if there, you can put a note about what happened for that to occur. But just that is something that needs to be included. And if you're not a coach, don't download the coaching feedback form. That's just for the coaches. And if you happen to download it, a few of you did download it, there's no big deal. But don't go in and fill it in, because we had one umpire that actually downloaded it and filled in a report on the two umpires he ran with in the games on Saturday, which is kind of amusing. But so that's all a bit about the paperwork. Okay, there's been some talk about dartfish. It's a lot of you would realise that they've introduced a subscription fee this year. It's $20. So at the end of the day, $20. It's less than $1 a week if you include finals. So it's worth it. It's always good to have a look at your games on video and maybe look at other games. There are two different types of subscriptions. So one is for the live streams and their recordings, and the other one is for all recordings. So I'm assuming most of you that will want to get a subscription will want to do the all recording. So I'll put the two links in. Um, there was a glitch with the replay of the live stream for the Sacred Heart match, but that's been fixed. I know, Croz, you were a bit worried about that one, but that was just that particular game, but that's been sorted. So the live streams and their replays is one subscription, and the Adelaide Footy League all recordings is another one. So I'll put that in the coaching notes. If you do sign up, they have to approve it so that there is a note saying it might take 24 hours for you to have access, so it won't be immediate access. It might not be 24 hours, but they do have to manually go in and tick a box for you to have access to those videos. So yeah, $20 well spent. Um, okay, so that's all my notes. There's a few points in the coaching videos that obviously I'm going to talk through. But does anyone have anything from the weekend where they might want to bring up to discuss, either from your game or a game you're watching?
Yeah, Colin.
Yeah, mate.
Probably a 666 rule. I was just thinking about on the weekend. So, say uh, the two players from both sides, uh, they get both a warning because they're both outside the zones. Say if that happens again, so you give warning to both sides. Say if that happens again, they're both outside again, and it's supposed to be a free kick the second time. It's just another warning then, is it, or what?
So if you have given a warning, the second time is a free kick. But as I said last week on the zone, even official warnings we should be giving at an absolute last resort. Like if you can get away with encouraging him to sprint and it's a short hold up, I wouldn't worry about an official warning. I certainly wouldn't worry about a free kick. Um, we did have one of the guys actually talking to John Raw's form before, so he actually gave out two warnings on the weekend. I just wanted to make sure that they weren't like over officious, but actually he handled them pretty well. So the first one was one of the play he was ready to ball a player up. There was a player for the interchange that was actually going to run on. He called out to him to stop and not run on. If the player hadn't run on, then there would have been no delay and he could have got on with the game. But because the player chose to keep running and had to run to position, everyone had to stand around waiting for him. So that's fair enough for a warning. And the other one was where it was sort of just as he was set as well. The player had to run from one zone to the other, and there was a delay, and all the players from the other team were calling out for like a warning, infringement warning. So those two are. I just wanted to check them out when I'd heard about it, but I was quite comfortable with the way he handled those. What I don't want is, the moment there's some slight delay that we're throwing out warnings and then giving out free kicks. If we can get away with encouraging them to hurry up and set up, then do so without those warnings and free kicks. Does that all make sense, Bo?
Yeah, no worries. Cheers.
Um, the time that I mentioned last week that I think there could be an issue with 666 is at the end of a game with no time on, the side that is behind in a really close game wants to get the game moving, and if the side that's in front is slow in getting position and you've tried to hurry them up and there's a delay, then you can actually pay a free kick without having given a warning, because you can say it's time wasting. But that's only in those circumstances. I wouldn't want you to be paying a free kick for time wasting at other times. If we can get over with not doing a warning or not paying a free kick, then we should do so. Anyone else? Uh, okay, let's get on with the video. I'll just have to share. There we go. Again, this has been a little while since I've done this. All right, cool. So hopefully you've all had a chance to have a look at this. Uh, okay, Mark Cosnet, do you want to unmute yourself, mate? I did mute you all. So, Mark.
Yep, yep, yep. You got
Yeah,
me now?
cool. Yep. All right. Now you've had a look at it. Can you let us know what you think of the first one?
I will. Well,
Hang on, let's get to the end.
yeah.
All right, take us through it.
All right. First thing I'd like to say, it was a great pass by my son.
Oh, he set him up, did he?
Yeah, he set him up. The second thing is I thought it should have been play on. And the third one is definitely a 25 metres because that was sort of late and pretty hard hit that the guy could have avoided. And we're there to umpire a safe game and also fairly. So I would have paid 25 for that.
Okay, no, mate, that's actually, if the umpire didn't call play on the day, should have. He did end up paying a 25 for that, so that's correct. I wouldn't have been fussed with the yellow card for that one. He did turn his body, did cop him high. He was somewhat protecting himself, but he didn't need to do it. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's what the note I wrote was he could have avoided the contact that he didn't need to do it.
Yep, totally agree. Anyone want to add anything to that? All right. Matthew Harris.
Hello.
G'day, mate. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I'm in my garden.
Oh, righto. How was your game on the weekend? A 1 point.
Yeah, it was very, very intense.
Yeah, I could imagine. I haven't seen any of it, but yes.
But did you obviously heard about what happened at the end?
No, I didn't. Do I want to hear about it?
Well, the goal umpires conferred after the game because Goodwood won by a point. However, Flinders Park disagreed with the score, so that the goal umpires convened after the game, but then they had to go inside the club rooms and then discuss for 5 minutes, come out and then wave the flags. So we had both sets of teams on the ground, and then Flinders Park were cheering that they won, and then Goodwood were cheering that they won, and that went on for 5 or so minutes. So it was really, really intense and full on, and
Wow.
there was a bit of aggro between the teams, like in terms of supporters. It was really intense, actually, but it was a fantastic, probably the best Ammos game I've ever seen, actually.
Yeah. Wow. And I guess the reason why I haven't heard of it is if the scores were wrong and they could have looked at the video to confirm it, we would have heard about it. So sounds like the goalie's got it right, thank God.
Yeah.
All right. Have you watched the video yet?
I have.
All right. Tell me what you think of the second one. Just let it
I
play.
can't. Oh.
All right.
Yeah, I looked at this. I actually looked at this a lot, probably about 4 times.
Yeah.
My decision, and I'd hope that I do this on the day, would be a ball up. I don't think he had any prior. I think the fact that he went to ground made it look worse, but he had no prior. So I would decide after watching that 3 or 4 times that I would ball that up.
Okay. I understand why you would say that. I'm sure there's others on the line that would have a different argument. Does anyone want to say a different version of that? Or does everyone think it's a ball up? Sure.
I can see.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Cole.
Is that the other Matt? Which?
Yeah, Colin, Matt Harris here.
From Matthew Harris to Matt Harris. Yep.
Yeah, Matthew's right. It's definitely a ball up because he's on his feet when he takes possession, tackled immediately, taken to the ground, no prior, and it's pinned before he can make a realistic chance. Before he has a realistic chance to dispose of it. So I think it's a ball up too.
Thank you, Matt.
2 Matt Harrises have to back each other up, eh?
Legend, Matt.
Yeah, brothers in arms.
Is there anyone that wants to disagree with those guys? Because I actually think there's a good argument why it could be honourable.
Rob here.
Yeah.
I also watched it about 5 to 10 times because it was a tricky one. And maybe it's because the player had his arms free as he got tackled at the start there, and as he was sort of swung around a little bit, he didn't make an attempt. So I can understand that, but I probably would do a ball up for this one personally.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good summary, Rob. I'm totally comfortable either way. This is one of those real 50-50 ones. What I want you guys to take out of it is I want you to see it like Rob and be really aware of the player that has an arm free and just tucks the ball in and makes no attempt to get rid of it. Personally, I would have paid holding the ball there because I don't think while there's no pro opportunity, there is absolutely no genuine attempt to try and get rid of it. Yes, in the end it was held in, but he was waiting for the ball up. So I would have paid holding the ball, but this is one of these really tough ones. So yes, it's not one where on the ground I'm telling you we should be really ruthless. This is one where he is on his feet, but the ones that we really want to watch out for and just gauge what they're doing is if they have one arm free and they don't make an attempt and they just hold on to it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough one, 50-50. Just a good example of why we have a game that often people want to debate. Ian Gore.
Yep,
Have you had a look at this video?
I have.
Did you work? I'll play it first and see.
I can't tell what the pre was for. I'll tell you now.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Merrick.
Mute yourself. There's a very good reason.
I couldn't work out what it was for either, Gory. I had to watch it
Okay.
5 times.
All right.
I'll give it a go, Cole.
Who's that?
That was me. Sam.
Sam. Okay.
I'll give it a go.
Well, let me play it first.
Oh, you haven't played it? Oh, yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'll play it first and then you can, yeah. Let me first say it's an excellent free and one that we should pay if we see it. So, Sam, what did you see?
Well, it took me a while to check it out. I had to bloody slow it down and all that. But like you said, definite free kick. It's the trainer that gets in the way of that guy that's going for the ball.
Yeah. So obviously we don't want to just like pay silly free kicks when they're in the area, but he actually gets in the way of the player. It actually stops his run at the ball. So if the trainers are getting in the way of a player, then a free kick can be paid. So well picked up, Sam. I don't blame you other guys for not picking up on it. It was a very good free kick from Eric. So all right, let me run through the rest of the tape. There is a point I'll stop it and discuss something happened on the weekend. Just important that we communicate with set kicks, let them know what you want. So in this case here, you can see Mark Broadac's very particular about getting him on his line, really clear about letting the player know what he has to do, which is very good. This one here, James comes in and very quick on letting the player know that he needs to play on from behind his mark and then gets out of his way, which is good. And this one here, if you actually look at the video and turn up the volume, you can hear, I think it might be Matt Harrison's one. You can hear him yelling at the player who then takes notice of him. So if you can get in there and communicate and stop them playing on and let them know, like in that case, to get outside the boundary line, using your voice in that scenario is key. Just a couple of examples of tapping. So when mark or free kicks paid just inside the 50-meter line, you want to get in there to be there for the set kick because it could be a shot at goal. But it's not just it's not just the fact that they're going to have a shot at goal. It's also the fact that I want that umpire that's paid the mark or free kick to be concentrating on the set kick, and want the other umpire to be focused on the goal square and players off the play. So by having clear responsibilities here, it means that we shouldn't miss anything. And so in this case here, I think that's Marek who was, and then he's Pat's the other umpire that's run through. So similarly here, Mark's taken out towards the 50, Cross has run in for the set kick, tap, Paul through, and then you can see the kick has gone down, and then Paul's in a good position to judge that marking contest, which it was a good marking attempt to play on. This is actually just a good example of the fact that you don't have to be super young and super fit and super fast to implement this the tapping and switching. I think Balsey, I think I saw you jump on the Zoom before. So in this case, Balsey's tapped Vic through. You can see Vic going as fast as he can to go down and take the next act, but just doing exactly what those Div 1 umpires are doing at a lower level. And look, in that case, it's a women's game where it's unlikely that that player is going to be able to kick the ball through for a goal. But again, it's about having eyes on the goal square and making sure that we take someone taking care of the set kick and someone watching the goal square. On the boundary line, when there's a last possession or out on the full scenario, you want to get over there to make sure that the player's out of bounds, there's players on the mark properly, and if the player with the ball comes in, there's play on call like Frank does there. So you really need to tap your other umpire through. So Rob's done the same here. Paul's gone down. Rob is right there to see the player walk over the line and call play on immediately. So it's just something that the top umpires know they have to do. And it's some good examples here what all umpires should really be doing. And so Alex does the same thing there in this scenario. When there's a mark or free kick deep in defence, you want to be there, make the effort to get down, don't just stand back and yell or blow your whistle. So in this case here, you want to bring the player back to the top of the kickoff line. So getting down there to make sure that happens is, just make the effort to get down there. Similarly here, I think this might be a last possession. I reckon that's Seb Henderson there, who is there to bring the player back. Once you've set up, you can then back off, like he does. And he's just making the effort to be there for those shots, those kick out from defence. When there's a shot at goal, you want to get in there fast. So you'll see, who's this Cross? Yeah. He gets in there quick. The 1 metre out, 1 metre back, so you're not in the way. Make sure the player's lined up. Once he's all set to take his kick, you back out. So that's Gav, who's 1 metre out, 1 metre back. He stays there. He doesn't rush out. He's making sure that player is on the line. He knows where the player on the mark is. Once it's all set, you then back out your 10 and 15. And again, Cross. Cross is always good for these set kicks. He waits there, waits for the Westminster player to get to the top of his run-up. Once he's set, then he backs out. A couple of slightly unusual situations, not totally unusual, but the first one is where the player on the mark is shepherded, not legal. So you reset the mark in that scenario. So, excuse me. Alex, how are you on the call? Are you on the Zoom? I know Paul Smith isn't. He wanted me to raise it. So what was happening in the Div 1 game between Golden Grove and Port District just happens like Port District were the offenders in this scenario. And what they were doing on the weekend was for a kick out from behind where the player has to go back 15 metres to stand the mark. When there was a Golden Grove kick out and the Port District player was in the mark, the Golden Grove player would be standing right alongside the player on the mark. So Paul and Alex were just talking about, I guess, what the rule is and what can they do in that scenario. So the rule is just like anywhere else around the ground, like in this scenario, you're not allowed to shepherd the player on the mark. So you need to make that really clear. In that scenario where the player on the mark is back 15 metres, if they do actually shepherd, they're shepherding well off the ball, it can technically be a free kick. Now, I actually have paid one in the past in that scenario where a player stood alongside the player on the mark, the player went to run off, bumped the player to the ground. It's actually a women's final that I was doing. And because it was a fairly decent bump and it took the player to ground and it was more than 5 metres from the ball, I paid a free kick, reversed it, and they had a shot for goal. So while we wouldn't want to necessarily pay a free kick in that scenario all the time, it's a weapon you can actually use when you're communicating with players is you can't shepherd the player on the mark. And in that scenario, when it's a kick out from behind, just be aware that you could be actually having a free kick paid against you. So we don't want a team to think that they can shepherd in that scenario and set up so that they are actually shepherding the player on the mark when it's a kick out from behind. Any questions on that one? It was an interesting one that Paul raised, and we talked through on the phone today. He couldn't make the Zoom tonight, so he wanted me to raise it. But we should be able to get away with communicating in that scenario from a kick out from behind rather than actually paying free kicks. But yeah, it was just interesting that that seemed to be what they were setting up to do. And the last one on this tape was Balsy on the money here. The player with the ball goes back, gets confused. She's actually going to kick the wrong way. And so Balsy just tells her she has to go back that way, sorts it all out, and then they get on with it. So sometimes players get confused, which is, I suppose, umpires do as well. And set kicks, you just have to be really aware of which team is going which way. So yeah, just good set kick control is the basis of good umpiring performance. So that's our first coaching session for the year. Does anyone want to raise anything from that or anything else before we finish up? All right. All right. Well done, guys. I've got some work to do to get the appointments ready for this week. I'm a bit behind, so I'll have a late night and getting ready for the release tomorrow. Again, first and second year umpires, bring your whistles and come along Wednesday night. The rest of you can have a running session with Matt. So I look forward to seeing most of you on Wednesday.